The government in Boston, Massachusetts is urging Boston residents to house migrants. They're urging us to house migrants in Boston, Massachusetts. I can't believe this. Let's tune in to the video, y'all.
There is also this out of Massachusetts. Boston is running out of room to house migrants, and one Democrat city council member wants residents in the suburbs to start taking them in. She says Dedham, Wellesley, Brookline, cities and towns that have so much more resources in the city of Boston, people who actually have more financial support, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that we are setting them up for success, or whatever success looks like. I think everyone should be opening up their doors because this is a shared responsibility.
Grace Curley lives in a Boston suburb and is the host of the Grace Curley Show. And she joins us now. Grace, great to have you here. If I'm a resident of Wellesley, Dedham, or Brookline, I'm thinking, since when does your horrible sanctuary city policy, Councilwoman Mejia, create a responsibility for me? What say you, Grace?
I agree. And when we saw this happening in Martha's Vineyard, it didn't go well. That was in 2022. Martha's Vineyard, home to John Kerry and Barack Obama, when they received 50 migrants from Ron DeSantis, they brought in the National Guard. So this isn't going to be a kumbaya moment. This is probably going to create a lot of issues, and there's going to be a lot of unhappy people out there.
Yeah, and this is the genius of Governor Greg Abbott by busing.
Listen, I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I can tell you right now, this is some craziness happening. This is some craziness. They really had people from Texas come in busloads over here, sleep in the airport. They got stuck here in the airport, got forced into some community centers. And now the government is saying, you know what, there's too much. We need the citizens to step in. I can't believe this is happening. To me, this is some strange behavior going on. But let's continue.
Migrants. He made this an issue for blue cities with progressive lawmakers who had previously called for open borders. And now a lot of black residents, Grace, are angry. And because of this and the economy, those once solidly blue voters, some people say, are up for grabs. And Joe Biden cannot afford that.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you guys brought up Melnia Cass, because that's a recreation center, and that was used for a lot of these young kids to go, and whether it's practice track or just hang out, that was a really important area in that community, and people aren't happy about it. And this is what's going to happen, and people were holding signs. Why us? Why not Wellesley? And it seems like politicians now are starting to get that pushback from their residents, from their constituents, and they're panicking a little bit. They're doing things I never thought I'd see them do, like calling on these suburbs. And a lot of people who have signs on their front yard that say, you know, hate has no home here, no human is illegal. Well, now they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is, it seems.
Grace, what do you think? What are people saying in your neck of the woods? Do you think anybody will actually house these migrants?
They ain't even putting.
There's been a couple of local news stories about
they ain't even
people
putting the
in
migrants
Brookline and other places taking in migrants. So some people.
They ain't even putting the migrants in a good place. I mean, in a bad place. They're going to the richest parts of Boston, Wellesley, Newton, Brookline, some of the wealthiest parts of Boston. Those houses down there are $1 million houses, easily. They're asking those people to step in, those people to help out. They're not even going to Dorchester. They're not bringing the migrants to Mattapan. This is insane. These migrants is about to be out here living better than some of these people that been living here for years.
Aren't hypocrites. Some people say, listen, this is what I stand for, and I will take people in. I mean, it's not that many. It's not enough to handle the influx that we're seeing by any means. But there are some people, and I give them credit, who aren't afraid to say, listen, I have said I'm open to a sanctuary city or a sanctuary town, and so my door is open.
my concern with that. You are basically opening your doors to an unvetted stranger on the one hand, and secondarily, you are normalizing illegality. So even though you think you're doing something magnanimous, I think it's a bad thing for our country. I want to get your thoughts on this before we let you go. The San Diego border is...
Shout out to those people that want those illegals in their house. Shout out to those people that want all the migrants just to come live with them. It's cool. I hope they're doing the same for the homeless. I hope they're doing the same for the poor people. This is insane.
Sector just arresting 269 Chinese migrants on Monday. Take a look at this comparison, Grace. 450 Chinese nationals were encountered at our southern border in fiscal year 2021. More than 20,000 have already been encountered this fiscal year. That's quite a jump. So-called immigration.
Holy! I didn't know Chinese was moving through like that. Man, I heard they were the fastest growing, but sheesh. No wonder. This year alone, they almost already there. It's only February. It's only February. They already beat 2022. They already beat 2021, and they about to beat 2023 this month alone. Wow. That is impressive, Chinese men. That is impressive. Y'all got a lot of people over here. That is
Experts say it's unlikely these are CCP agents. Are you buying that, Grace?
No, I'm not. And of course, not everyone who's coming into this country has nefarious intentions, but we'd be naive to not think people are taking advantage of this. And Todd, it actually goes back to what you just said. It's about the incentivization. It's about incentivizing people to come over here and making it obvious that we have a porous border, that you can get through, that there's not going to be a lot of punishment or even vetting if you want to do that. And if you're a Chinese national, or if you're anyone in any part of the world, and this is what you want to do, now seems to be the time. Especially, we're heading into an election. People realize that if they don't make this decision now, if they don't take advantage of this now, they might not have the opportunity come 2020, to come the election in November, and hopefully if there's somebody else in charge.
If they get all these people that are coming in to the United States, if they get all of them registered to be able to vote by the end of the year, by November, the Democrats are going to win again. The Democrats are going to win again. They just brought in the new voting class, and they're straight from China, straight from Venezuela, straight from Mexico. That is insane. Let's continue.
Yeah, many of these Chinese migrants say that they're here because of the strict COVID lockdowns. Their businesses shut down, so they're coming here for a better life. But then a lot of them are also military-age men, which is raising a lot of concerns.
You saw that video.
Yeah, and just them scampering into the United States from that open section in California. They know where to go because it says it on TikTok as well, which is another big issue. Grace, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Grace.
it.
Yo, this is insane, people. It's crazy, people. It's crazy. The Democrats, although people might be a little bit upset about them, they know what they're doing at the same time. They know what they're doing. Very, very clever, but very dumb at the same time, because we letting in a bunch of people that are also, they could possibly be our enemies. They could possibly be our enemies. This is tough. This is insane.